It's the After the Show podcast, precious.
We don't care, we're about to swear on the air. It's the After the Show, so tune in if you dare. KVJ gets risque every single day. It's uncensored. We can say what we want to say.
Yeah, all right. Hello and welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast. Happy Tuesday, y'all. Chilly day today. Got on my new $11 coat. Feeling great. I thought it was going to be really warm. It's one of those puffy jackets. And Buddy said, oh, yeah, you get those puffy jackets. I got to tell you, I've worn this thing indoors all day and I haven't gotten the least bit hot. I don't think it's very effective. And I had it out the other night and I'm like, it was a little bit, there's a bit chill in the air. It's probably 68 degrees. To me, perfection's about 73, 74. I get a little bit chill when you get below 72. So I'm like, I'm gonna put it on, just see what happens. I can always take it off. Got there and it was just absolutely fine. I think it's all for show. Do you ever have that where I found out that I'm not buying very warm clothes. I discovered that, unfortunately, when I got up north and I really needed warm clothes. Here, I don't care.
Right.
So this is kind of a puffy jacket. You see this jacket, you're going, dude, that's a little much for indoors, but it's actually not warm at all.
Well, all puffers are not created equally.
I've noticed that, yeah.
That is a thin puffer. When you walked in with that, I noticed it. It's a Florida puffer.
Yeah, right. I got it. I got it in South Florida. I got it. I think it was H&M. If you go right in, take a right. The discount rack, everything that's under $15 is right there. They want to get rid of it.
It's a nice looking jacket, but you probably get more thickness out of a pair of panties.
Yes, you're right.
So maybe you should wear panties instead.
Puffy panties. That's a good look, isn't it?
I love that.
Yeah. Is that a fupa? No, I just have on puffy panties. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm on a little low level of puffy jacket here. And honestly, I think the cold front that we're talking about is overhyped. I don't think it's that impressive. Because on the news, they love that falling iguana thing. That's the whole thing they do. Oh, it's a falling iguana alert.
Well, those news fuckers, they tricked me thinking I'm over here, sound like a dumbass. Oh, yeah, the iguanas are falling from the tree because I saw the news report.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're falling from the trees. No. I think they lied to us.
I'd like to see if anybody saw an iguana that fell out of the trees that wasn't an iguana that just died. Just of natural causes or whatever.
Or it didn't work for a news station.
Yeah.
You know those iguanas that work for the news stations.
It's got to be below 50 degrees. And apparently it's, really needs to be closer to 40 for them to really freeze up and fall out of trees. And it was at 54 degrees when I checked this morning.
So that means if the degree where they start to fall out of trees, if it's 1 degree hotter, that means, or warmer, that means they're not going to be falling out of the tree. Are they kind of preparing for that?
I think it's a level of stun. It's gradual. Yeah, for them. And I think that's what happens to their body temperature. They just kind of start to slow down and their body's like, hey, you need to just chill. And that's just what they do. I think that's just a reptile thing. So, yeah, so I think that the falling iguana alert was false and premature. Just saying.
A reptile dysfunction.
A reptile dysfunction, yeah. That's what we have. Yeah.
You should loan that one to Denny's.
Mm-hmm. Got some hard-hitting stories we'll get into here in just a bit. Got a few comments from today to learn from. I did not do well on Do It Bitch. That's why I have on this Sharpie sunglasses, which actually looks more like a bandit mask. I look a bit like the Hamburglar right now.
Don't go to the bank today. It's all I'm telling you.
I know, right?
I didn't want to get too close to your retina.
Yeah, I hear you.
I kind of want to give retina respect.
It's good, yeah. So it's I think it's good where it is.
Just I want to poke out his eye.
There's a little bit of space, but you know what the thing does too is I've noticed my eyes slightly irritated because it puts off fumes.
Right.
And so the fumes are, I can detect that a bit. So if it was right up to it, yeah, I think I'd probably be really struggling to read and kind of need that.
Kind of like I am.
Yeah.
I made mine too thick.
Yeah. Well, you live and learn. This is the first time I've ever had a pair of Sharpie sunglasses on my face.
Definitely the first, hopefully the last.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I gotta figure out. I gotta do better on that responding. I think I'm responding next week, so I gotta get it together.
I don't think there's any way for you to do better because you got too much going on.
What we could do is honestly, if Kevin's going, we can take over the ticker. We can hit the buttons for you.
Probably need an adjustment.
We can do that. Yeah.
That way, because I know when I'm hosting, I look and I see whoever the responder is. They're sitting there really focusing on, okay, I got this. I'm getting it lined up in my head. And when that's happening, I'm going, okay, I got to write this down. I got to hit that. I got to do this. And so I'm not able to, it's like go, and then you're like, all right, okay.
On an execution level, we can get you better in there, and we'll help out on the side.
Right.
It's going to go terrible, but we're going to help.
I need to get into do it bitch conditioning. That's what it is.
When you're responding, maybe you can't sit in that chair.
Let's make it more complicated. Let's prolong the bit even more.
Maybe somebody else has to run the board.
I don't know. We'll look into it, Virginia. We can look into it.
Maybe we should bring a cheetah into the studio while this is all good, just to kind of fucking
Add
throw
to it. Yeah, just all kinds of chaos. Yeah.
I can get a cheetah. I think Amy at Bush Wildlife would probably bring us a cheetah.
I know she can get us a bobcat.
They have bobcats, yeah. A lot of bobcats there.
I don't think I know the difference between a bobcat and a cheetah.
Yeah, I'd see that.
I'd love to play that game with you, though. Cheetah, tiger, lion,
Bobcat. Pet them all blindfolded and see if you can distinguish which just bit you.
Okay, go find the cheetah. Go.
Lynn, one of the topics we had was green items in the produce section, and she said zucchini is a green squash, so I guess there is a green squash.
Yes.
Zucchini's in that family.
We pulled it up.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You guys still lost.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's no saving that.
That one
wasn't
was
even close.
not in contention.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. Justin was commenting on the story you had heard, Virginia. Somebody took their Frenchie to the tiki bar, left it unattended for a second. Somebody tried to snag it. Frenchies are that dog. It's, you know how they have the #1 stolen cars every year? It's whatever, the Nissan or something like that. I remember every year it's that one. Frenchie is clearly the dog that most people try to nab, and it's because they got trendy, and if you get the right kind of Frenchie, and that's why I was just saying for people out there, don't go snagging every Frenchie. It seems like the people who are Frenchie thieves, they do know. And I only know from hearing conversations, like my daughter has the two that are staying at our house, and she, got them from, they were the low budget. They were on the lower end of the scale. They don't have whatever the markings are and the temperament or whatever the hell it is. Her friend does. She's got a Frenchie. She has the right markings, eye color, all this kind of stuff.
And the dog costs 10 grand.
10K. Yeah. So it does seem like Lady Gaga's dogs, I think they're on the high end Frenchies.
Yes.
They have whatever you need. So that's what I was just saying. Anybody's going to grab Frenchies and think that you're going to have a huge payday. It's not. Like my daughter's dogs are not worth.
You need to do your Frenchie homework.
Do your Frenchie homework. So if you want to jack the dogs for me when I'm taking a walk, then you're not going to sell them for much.
It's kind of like OnlyFans. Just because you join doesn't mean you're going to make $1 million.
Yes, right. That's the clarification on the Frenchies. But Justin said people need to leave their dogs at home. It's out of control where these people bring their dogs. They've lost their minds.
But that's an outdoor bar and restaurant, and I don't have a problem with that when people bring their dogs to an outdoor bar or restaurant.
There's bar owners too that love dogs that want that environment. They that's their thing.
You go to Matthews Brewing. Their logo is his old dog that he has on the logo. And yes, a lot of breweries are very dog friendly. People who love craft beer, they love their dogs, and there are dogs all over breweries. So I don't see you on that. Now, I will tell you what is different, and they report it all the time. The people, especially in Boca, that bring their little fucking yappy dogs into a Publix, that's a different thing, because you can't have dogs in there around food, because there was one person snapped a photo of a dog that kicked up its leg and was pissing in the produce section on some food. And that's where it's like, no. And they confronted him, and the person, this is such a Boca mentality, they doubled down and went the whole service dog and wanted to fight, and they created a scene. They're like, show me the manager, and the person's like, sorry, like, you can't have dogs in here pissing on our produce. And
if it's a real service dog, it wouldn't do that.
And that's the difference. So I'll see you on that. But I'm not going to say, I think that dogs at tiki bars, I'm okay with that.
I am too.
It's not in a food creation station. You keep it away from the food. It's by the booze. You're all right.
And get a dog bouncer, like a German Shepherd. If any dogs out of line, German Shepherd gets them out of there.
Skate the Beach said, Boca News showed a woman at New York Prime that had a dog on the table eating a steak. I saw that. It's Boca News that covers it. In fact, every week, if you read Boca News or check them out, they hate the dog. Boca's rampant with dogs all over the place. Like I said, they will be on, and they will double down on you about, no, my dog loves steak. You can't tell me I can't have my dog on the table.
Your dog just took a dump on the table. My his dumps are very classy.
I mean, it's a health code issue at that point. And if somebody were to come in from the Department of Health, they would be like, no, this restaurant is in trouble because your dog is on the table eating.
I love dogs. People that do that are assholes.
You got to stay outside. And that's why if it's an open air place like Tiki 52 or like Berry Fresh Cafe, they have a whole outdoor place that's dog friendly. They put out dog bowls. Rocco's Tacos on Clematis, same thing. If you have a whole outdoor area, that's the dog friendly part of the restaurant. I got no problem with that.
I don't either. Grocery stores where you're actually buying, I have a problem with that. That is an issue.
Because people are abusing it and they're lying about the fact that this is not a service dog.
It's like anything. If your dog takes a dump on the Publix floor, you clean it up. If your dog's barking, you get it out. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah, and that was it too. And it's Boca Rudton, that's what they call it. And they had another photo another time with a dog that took a massive dump. And it's always in the produce section. But you just don't want feces and food.
No.
It's just not the combination. And, somebody was explaining it too, saying you have all kinds of bacteria and all kinds of stuff that even though you clean it up and all that stuff and you think it's good and no harm, no foul, no, you just can't.
It's creating all kinds of possible cross-contamination,
right,
too.
Exactly, yeah.
So you've got this poor Publix employee that has to clean up your dog poop and then accidentally turns around and touches the grapes.
Yeah, right.
And then what do we got going on now?
We got dog poop grapes.
We got E. coli grapes.
Yeah, to me it's a common sense thing, but so many people in South Florida lack common sense or they just don't care.
They don't care.
I think that's what it is.
In Boca, it's a tude. It's a Boca-tude.
It was just unbelievable. Again, we were driving there, because we're in Boca all the time, and the green light hit. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And I wasn't even the first one. I'm just like, the cars were moving. The light turned green. Everybody. It's a reflexive action in Boca Raton.
Oh, I take
that as soon as a light turns green, like 5 cars lay on their horn.
You got, at that point, just put it in park.
Yeah.
And then open your hood.
I'd go real slow. I'm taking my ever-loving time.
Like, oh, sorry, dude.
Yeah. Oh, no, I got to hit the brakes real quick. I get my drink.
I don't think there was ever a time I don't drive out of Boca and be like, come on, this town is so full of so many assholes. It far and away. And
there are assholes everywhere, but you're right.
No, there is a
Boca has a higher percentage per capita.
It's not even close. And I'm in towns all over South Florida. It's not even close. Not even close. All right, Michael said, hey, welcome back. I was listening to the ATS from yesterday about the different blood alcohol contents for Virginia. Guess her photo, guess her blood alcohol level. Kev said he remembered the highest he thought he'd heard was in the 3s. Well, for me, things were not going well personally or professionally. I had a fuck it kind of day. So I started drinking while at work, and I was drinking all day long. Oh. Just so happened it landed on the random drug and alcohol testing day for me. It's now 4:45 p.m., and I was trying to run out the door, but no, I had to blow before I went. I blew a .307.
You thought that shit was random. They go, the guy in accounting is walking into the wall and he's humping the cactus. Can we get a random drug and alcohol test on him?
It doesn't feel random. It feels like somebody ratted you out.
4:45, 15 minutes before the day. No, they fucking got you because you were walking into the wall.
You got a mole in there. Somebody ratted you out.
Thinking you don't smell like a bottle of whiskey.
He said they didn't believe it. 15 minutes later, they tested again just to make sure the machine wasn't broken, and it registered .315. It actually went up.
Oh.
The bosses were stunned because I was coherent, talking clearly, and walking straight.
Wow.
They said, you know what, just go home. You're fired. Lesson learned. But now I'm 4 months sober.
They go, you're fired, but what are you doing after this? Because you're a lot of fun. Let's go out for a drink.
Right.
You can't work here, but definitely you can work with us at happy hour.
Yeah. Steve from Jupiter said, I think I got a real issue that Kev can use effectively in a mayoral campaign. We have a huge shortage of affordable apartments here and loads of empty retail and office space. Why can't they turn those into livable spaces like they did when vacant industrial space became lofts? Yeah, from what I hear, they are actually starting to transfer a bit of that. In fact, a lot of the mall areas, I know in Wellington, that is the plan, that they're going to redo the whole mall at Wellington Green, and it'll be, kind of a mix of some shops here and there. It'll be more walkable, and then they'll have some apartment towers that are going to be going up.
I love it. Every time I see new development for residential, I get excited because that just means growth for our community, more money for our community, and then less people that'll have to move away like Suits.
Yeah.
Because they got priced out of the market and they could no longer afford their housing costs.
Yeah. It is something I think they are kind of trying to address a bit in some places, the affordable housing thing. The one thing I think they're forgetting a little too much, though, is that our infrastructure was not built for the size that we were becoming. And it's easy to ignore that because you're worried about putting people in homes. But don't forget that you still have to have sewer and you also have to have the road structure to get people in and out. There are so many roads now are just complete gridlock trying to get in and out of. And roads you wouldn't even think. Indiantown Road. I couldn't believe just how tough that was.
It used to
in
be
Jupiter.
where I always avoided North Lake.
Yeah.
Now I always avoid North Lake and Indiantown Road.
If you're in a great mood, go down Indiantown Road and you will become in such a shitty mood so quickly.
It definitely has become way congested. That's why the city wouldn't allow the Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A wanted to go into the shops right there where they put the Bole and the MD Now.
Yeah.
That originally, they wanted to put a Chick-fil-A. The Chick-fil-A people wanted to put a Chick-fil-A there. But the city said no because we can't handle the extra traffic that y'all are going to bring.
Well, they can't handle chicken only 6 out of the 7 days. They need chicken 7 days a week. That's how a proper chicken company runs.
Chicken for the people.
Ryan sent an email. He said, there was a guy in my office that mentioned this to me. There's some connection between the guy that lit up the Cybertruck at Trump's Hotel in Vegas and the drone sightings and gravitational thrust, ? Sean Ryan, the Navy SEAL, did a podcast with somebody connected to all this that goes into it, but I was told that they are just scratching the surface. I've not yet watched this episode of the podcast, but I wanted to pass it along to you, currently catching up. Yeah, I haven't watched the episode. I was just looking at some of the comments that happened with it on Twitter, and I think it's still a mystery, the guy who did the Cybertruck thing, and then at the same time you're trying to figure out the guy in New Orleans, so they got these two stories and trying to figure out, they don't think there's any correlation. But
then you got the drones, and then you got the fog, and then you got all kind of shit going on, and you're going, what the hell?
You got Bethany Frankel confusing everybody by calling them Dior bags.
Yeah,
what?
Frankel, please, with all due respect, can you shut the fuck up?
She's not really helping.
She's not helping it because when I hear Dior bags, I get excited. I want Dior bags. And then I'm like, oh, wait, that's drones. That's bad.
Yeah, she's making it all confusing and shit. Stop it, Frankel.
Yeah. It is kind of crazy. I don't know where any of this is, and it'll be interesting to say, but there was talk that maybe they were Chinese because they had that technology, them and the Russians, and so.
By the way, there's a percentage of people in the government that think that really believe that it's China or it's Russia.
Right.
And then there's other people go, no, it's not at all. There's nothing to see here. You guys, those are birds. Those are stars. Those are planets. You're going,
I don't know. Drones as big as cars freaks me out.
Well, that's not a drone. That's a craft.
That's
at that
an
point.
aircraft.
Yeah, that's the other thing that's getting people annoyed up in the New Jersey, New York area is everyone's calling them just drones. They go, well, we're looking. It's not a fucking drone.
It's big enough for multiple people to be in it, or multiple aliens to be in it. Like, it's insulting our intelligence to keep calling them drones or Dior bags.
It's just weird. There's a lot of stuff going on out there, and you don't know why. And it could be our stuff out there. I'm not. That's a possibility where they're just not going to tell us that we're doing tests out there. The one video that was odd and weird was it looked like some kind of drone or some kind of machine. It was pissing. It looked like it was just dripping all kind of liquids on a neighborhood.
And is that biochemical warfare? Now, in 5 months, is everybody in that neighborhood all of a sudden going to have cancer?
Yeah.
Or they start feeling effects of like a nerve gas?
And the reason why I bring that one up is because I saw that on a site that was credible. They typically don't put things up that are not. They vet them because they're all about the credibility.
WeAreCredibility.com?
Yes, exactly. There is a George Knapp is his name, and he don't fuck around. If it's good and it's legit, he'll print it or he'll put it up. But if it's not, he's like, nah, I'm sorry. There's too many there's too many things it could be.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're just not getting any information. So there's a lot of speculation out there, and you say, who knows? Because the government is not telling us anything, and if they did, would you believe them? The Snack Pack would not, Virginia, just to let you know.
Oh, is this a new song?
Yeah. It's the government is lying.
Well, confidence in government is at one of the lowest points in half a century.
Well, I'm not a crook.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
The government is lying, the government is lying about the aliens and the UFOs flying. The government is lying, the government is lying. In every single move that you make, they are spying. The government is lying, the government is lying about the aliens and the UFOs flying. The government is lying, the government is lying. And all that bullshit that you're selling, we ain't buying. Do you trust the government? No, I never did. I haven't trusted them ever since I was a kid. They watch you when you eat, they watch you when you nap, they watch you when you shower, and they watch you when you crack. Liar, liar, pants on fire. The government is tapping my telephone wire. We don't trust Republicans or Democrats. The only party you should trust is a Snack Pack. The government's treating us like some loons, cause we know NASA never really landed on the moon. JFK, God rest your soul. The government put that hole in your skull. Well, I got a sick son and a sick daughter, cause you've been feeding them the government tap water. Knock, knock. Who is there? It's the men in black and the Snack Pack scared. The government is lying, the government is lying about the aliens and the UFOs flying. The government is lying, the government is lying. In every single move that you make, they are spying. The government is lying, the government is lying about the aliens and the UFOs flying. The government is lying, the government is lying. And all that bullshit that you're selling, we ain't buying. All your lies have got so messy. You hide the truth about Bigfoot and Nessie. Who's got Jimmy Hoffa's body? Probably the Illuminati. Clones, drones, stolen bones. You're by yourself, but you're not alone. Ford, Nixon, Carter, Truman. Y'all lizard people, y'all ain't human.
Indeed, I did have a relationship with Miss Lewinsky that was not appropriate. In fact, it was wrong.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
We did Democrat and Republicans with the
Good.
presidents.
Gotta balance it out, yeah.
Gotta keep it fair and balanced.
Got to balance it out. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, this is going against the whole thing about flashing lights to warn people about speed traps. Bree said, I've had so much conversation about whether people should be flashing lights for a speed trap or not. I used to do it, and now I'm 100% against it since I had this following experience. I was driving on the interstate in another state when a vehicle went flying by me at 100 miles per hour in mid-afternoon, weaving in and out between other vehicles. It was an out-of-state vehicle who did not know they were approaching a speed trap. But I knew, and I was so excited that they're going to all get caught until someone on the other side of me flashed their lights and the vehicle started driving like they were the driver of the year. He passed by the state troopers, no problem, and I was pissed. Then about 5 miles up the road, I came across an accident that had just happened. The same speeding car had started speeding again after they passed the speed check, and they hit a minivan that was trying to merge onto the interstate.
Oh.
There was debris all over the road from the minivan that had flipped over, including a few stuffed animals, and I was heartbroken. A family with small children was in that van, and the children were seriously injured. The person on the other side that flashed their lights interfered with what should have happened. If this vehicle had been pulled over, this family would not have had such a horrible experience because the vehicle that hit them would have been occupied getting the ticket that they deserved. Instead of thinking you're a hero saving others from their own choice to speed, think of what tragedy could have been prevented down the road. If someone speeds and gets a ticket, it is their business. Just stay out of it.
Interesting.
Okay. It's heavy. That is a valuable lesson,
It
though.
is.
Something to think about.
Different, and I think a perspective that I'd never heard before, but I'm happy I heard it.
Yeah. There are different kinds of speeding, too. There is that person. I even saw today, there was somebody on the news, they're in a white Mercedes, and there was a bunch of bikers on the road, and they were weaving it out. And how they didn't kill half the pack, I have no idea, but that was the video that they had. That kind of person deserves a ticket. And then there's a situation I had. It used to be on Belvedere, right by Palm Beach International Airport, just west of Military Trail. And you would go, you know how you have all those different little towns? You don't know what fucking town you're in.
Right. And they have the area where it drops down 10 miles per hour and nobody knows.
And then it was just that little area, and they would plunk. One time they had like 6 sheriff's deputies right there, and they were just pulling people over right and left because the speed limit, it dropped 10 to 15 miles per hour, and then a half mile down the road, it goes right back up. And there's no difference in the road. They just dropped it, and they were using that to make money for their little town.
Yeah, that's the one where I still feel okay about flashing my lights.
RJ said it was Haverhill. Yeah, I guess there's a town Haverhill, and so yeah, they do that. So yeah, to me, I would still warn people on that one unless they're driving like a maniac.
You know what? She's right about on I-95. I don't think I'll ever flash my lights again now, considering what she just said.
Yeah, it's for somebody driving like that. If somebody's just going a little bit. Maybe not, but yeah, when you go to that level and you see them, they're all over I-95. And I don't drive slow. I'll admit that. But when somebody passes me, it's amazing. I was on 95. I was doing 80, maybe close to 85, and people were passing me like I was standing still.
I drive like Mr. fucking Magoo now. I just like to keep it. I'm not taking no chances. I ain't no speed demon these days.
I drive aggressively because I feel like you have to on 95.
I feel like most people on 95 are driving aggressive.
I don't think you should go slow and back up traffic, but I'm not. I'm not one of those guys going 90 in the left. I'm too.
I just don't ever relax. When I hit 95, I am at high alert and I'm looking all around to see what is going on, and I'm just driving to survive.
I wish it didn't take so long. I would just prefer to take other roads.
Yeah, I know.
You know? But it takes so long, and then we're always in a hurry, and then here we go.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if I'm scared of heights. I don't want to fly, but it'd be cool if I could hover to work.
He only wants to be like 30 feet off the ground.
Too high. Let's go 15. As long as I can keep my speed. Why do we have to go so
You're
high?
going to hit every tree.
I'll dodge them.
Tell me how this settles with you. I don't know if you caught this story. It was back in 2022, January 27th. Almost a full 3 years ago, when 17-year-old Noah Galley was driving a BMW on State Road 7 west of Delray Beach, going 151 miles an hour.
Oh, my gosh.
He rear-ended a Nissan Rogue, killed all 6 people who were in it.
Oh, my gosh.
Remember that story? I don't know if you guys do remember. It is the wedding couple. They just got married, and this drunk girl was, I think, 60-something in a 25. They were on a golf cart, and
she just got sentenced recently.
She did, and the thing that's fucked is her body cam is awful. She's laughing. She's talking about going to Vegas.
Oh.
When do I get to pick up my car? And the cop goes, you're not gonna pick up your car. Your car's totaled and you killed 2 people.
He's like, you don't even understand what you just did.
And she's like, you're not talking to me, so I'm gonna start singing. I mean, it is disgusting behavior. And then she got during her, house arrest or whatever, they let her get married, and that caused a lot of trouble too. People are like, she shouldn't get married. She'd be behind bars right now.
Well, this is what I'm just wondering, because this kid, Noah, he killed 6 people. And he got 12 and a half years in prison.
Yeah, and the girl that killed killed the one girl, she got, I believe, 25 years in prison, which people thought that was over the top. Lawyers were all coming up going, we've never seen something like this before, because she maimed, I believe, 2 people, and she killed 1, and not that that's any different, but it is odd when you hear some of these stories where they kill 6 people and they're only in there for 7 years.
2 years per life. That the and I don't know. There's clearly not a standard equation that we have for the value of a human life. But
no, there's not. And you know what it all depends upon? Your legal team.
It does. But the wedding girl, she had some of the best legal eagles out there, and they were shocked. If you watch them hand down her sentence, she legitimately looks like she cannot. She looks at her lawyers. They're going, oh fuck, I don't know. But every comment in the YouTube section was, deserves it. 25 years. Don't give a shit. Fuck you.
So there's Noah Galley. He was driving a BMW. He's, daddy, I believe, must have some money. He was 17, so it's not going to be his money. And his attorneys went with this defense called a syncope event, saying that he had this, where you lose consciousness. And the argument from the deputies that they had, they said, okay, so you're saying conveniently, the only reason he was going 151 miles per hour on State Road 7, a road that does not accommodate this kind of speed. No speed should. I mean, you need to be on a racetrack if you're going 151 miles an hour. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's what it was. What, again, wasn't his fault. He had this event. And then the deputies are saying, this dude had an Instagram page that was all about him going fast.
Oh.
He had a history of speeding more than 100 miles per hour on multiple times. Just weeks earlier, he recorded a video of himself driving the same BMW going 182 miles an hour on I-95.
So that wasn't admissible in court?
It was, but all this said, they're like, well, they planted the reasonable doubt. Yeah, but what if he did have this event? And like, well, here's a video of him driving 182 miles an hour. No syncope event here. And his Instagram account was on his car, so he was doing all this stuff for clout and for clicks. And he wrote in the comments section that they would pay the first person to guess how fast he was driving. So it was an engagement thing he did where he was trying to show off for Instagram. And one time he kills 6, and he gets 12 years because of it.
That's insane. It makes no sense to me. 6 people.
That is insane.
The one girl, 25 years.
But
Right, that's right.
That's your legal team.
What is
Whatever they did, they convinced the jury.
The American legal system is just so messed up.
Well, there should be, like, not so much leeway. Like, what is the value of a human life? Okay, here it is.
Well, I think it's different, too, depending on where you live. Every state is different, and maybe even every county or city is different.
Yeah, I saw that, and that, I mean, I'm like, what? He killed 6 people and he got 12 years?
The one that killed the bride right after, like an hour after her wedding, she was, I think, double or almost triple the
I think a lot of
alcohol.
it, a lot of it too, has to do with the publicity of the case. That bride on the golf cart that got hit the night of her wedding was a massive, massive story nationwide, like nightly news, all the channels. So it got a lot of attention.
That's what the lawyer said on the lawyer's show. It wasn't her lawyer, but he goes, because this was a national attention kind of a thing. People knew.
That's it. And the people were watching it, and they wanted to send a message because they didn't want public outcry on a national level. The problem with this story, maybe where they hit the Nissan with 6 people in it, maybe it didn't get enough national pressure for a heavy conviction.
I'm going to say the quiet part out loud, because I believe it's true in this. The story Jaybird's talking about, she was a bride, attractive photos, you felt for her. These were 6 workers that had menial type of jobs, and I don't think they're the kind of person that a lot of times when you put on the news, they're like, oh.
And I hear what you're saying, but I do think because it was literally moments after her wedding, she's in her gown, they're leaving the wedding. That's why I think that story was such an explosive story, because it was so
And then it just proves why the legal system's broken. Because that shouldn't matter. You know, so if we would have had somebody that was pretty in a wedding gown that would have died in this accident, then maybe he would have gotten more than 12 years for killing 6 people.
Yeah, that's not right.
And I agree with you, by the way, when it comes to how the media cover, especially missing people. It's always the pretty people that get the headlines, and that's not fair. It's just not right.
I saw this. I couldn't even believe this. I was like, I don't know if anybody feels the way I do, but I just am like, wait, what? Why? Why is it? And that's my question. Why? This kid proved that this was something he did. There's a pattern behind his behavior. You have that going on. 6 people. He's going to do 2 years behind bars for each of those people, and they're just, the working people to keep things going on. They're not pretty and in wedding dresses.
And does he have an opportunity for parole, like early release?
I wouldn't doubt it. He'll probably be out in 6 weeks. He's got this whole thing where they've got him, he's going to be on probation, though, for years after he gets out. Oh, that's so tough. Oh, my gosh, I'm sure he's living in a big house, and that's going to be so rough on him.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, the girl with the wedding, she's going away for 25 years. So she's getting hers.
He should be too.
He should be
the guy
too.
that hit all those people.
Yeah, honestly, the lesson that you need to get out of this: don't kill pretty people.
Or don't abduct pretty people.
Yeah,
because they'll be on the news.
Don't do anything to pretty people because you're gonna get the full brunt of the law. But if it's somebody that is not front and center in society, then they're a little bit more disposable.
Well, that's what happened with the milk carton thing. It started off as a good thing with the milk, putting missing children on the milk carton, but they noticed only white kids were going on there. That's the only kids that were making it on the milk carton thing.
Yeah.
And that was controversial because people of all colors were getting kidnapped, and everyone deserved to be on that milk carton.
No doubt.
And there was a major controversy because of that, and rightfully so.
That's why it needs to be said, because you have stories like this, and it's still be like, all right, no, we need a check here. We need a check and balance because this ain't right.
Look, if you're a human and you get you're missing or you get hit or whatever, you should get.
My dad's an attorney, and I remember the one thing that always jumped out at me in his office. He had the scales of justice, and she's wearing a blindfold because you're not supposed to be able to see all this kind of stuff, right? So if you're saying 6 humans, it should be the same as if you'd killed, one, right? Life for a life, whatever. It's just justice is blind. You see that? But clearly the equation is not right when you get 2 years for killing 6 and you get 25 for killing 1.
The more money you have, the better legal defense you get. The better legal defense you get, the less time you serve. Unless it's a huge national case with big pressure and you've got the right prosecutor. Like, there's so many things that could have gone wrong with the case that you're talking about with the 6 people that lost their lives.
And the spoof that I've always seen at that is Lady Justice in one of them. She's taking her finger and she's lifting the blindfold up and peeking out with one eye. Because that's truly what American justice is.
I agree with you.
It is not blind. This was another story that kind of jumped out at me. It happened over the break. You know who Aaron Rodgers is, right? He's the quarterback of the New York Jets.
Of course. There's a Netflix special all about him on right now, actually.
He's lippy.
He is a big proponent of these alternative medicines and the ayahuasca retreats and all this kind of stuff,
The
and opening your mind.
and
people got feels about Aaron Rodgers, one way or the other. I'm sure some people just absolutely love him. There are a lot of people that really don't like him. But all that ayahuasca stuff and those kind of things where you open up your mind and you go on that kind of retreat, I would never do it because I don't like being that out of control. I just don't. Who knows what happens? Because, look, I don't trust myself.
Right.
I've seen myself on booze, and I'm like, if booze would do that to me, imagine what a freaking ayahuasca would do.
You're a little too guarded to be so cavalier.
No, I can't do it. I cannot let down my guard because I wouldn't want to come to and be like, wait, what did I do?
What did I say?
There is a 32-year-old artist and life coach, Stefan Leon, who is accused of stabbing 68-year-old spiritual healer Julio Rivera 5 times during a 3-day ayahuasca retreat at an Airbnb in Boynton Beach.
Oh, no.
Happened in early October, but there's CCTV footage that captured Leon covered in blood, banging on a door for help before Rivera dragged him away.
Oh, no.
Police arrived to find both men struggling, drenched in each other's blood. Leon allegedly attacked officers claiming to be a demon, then God, then Hitler.
And this is all because he had a bad trip on the ayahuasca?
He was arrested for attempted murder.
You wonder, was that in him already, or did the ayahuasca really make him do that? I always wonder that stuff.
Who knows? But look, if that's in you and you don't realize it, don't let it out, man. Bury it deeper. Leon and Rivera had taken ayahuasca, which, if you don't know, it's a hallucinogenic brew, illegal in the U.S., but used in Amazonian spiritual practices.
I thought one person was supposed to stay sober. Isn't there supposed to be like a shaman who stays sober and then watches you, and then the other person does the ayahuasca?
I'm not sure that's always the way it goes, Virginia. I think the shaman likes to dip into the...
Come on, shaman.
Well, it depends on what kind of shaman you're getting to. There's different levels.
Now, Rivera, who calls himself an astral parasite extractor, claimed that Leon's violent outburst occurred as a demon spoke through him,
Oh, my.
declaring its defeat. Rivera said Leon swallowed a bottle cap, prompting him to intervene before being stabbed in the head, hand, and chest. Leon then chased Rivera with threats of death. Despite facing charges of attempted murder and resisting arrest, Leon, under house arrest, was permitted by a judge to go to Art Basel.
What the hell?
What are we doing in South Florida? What are we?
Ayahuasca.
This guy might have a demon in him. I don't know what's going on. He tries to stab somebody on ayahuasca. Yeah,
It's Art Basel, Kevin.
I think he did. Did he stab him in the head? That would be so painful.
Unreal. It really is unreal.
I'm no doctor, but that seems like that would hurt.
It makes me want to go to Art Basel less, too.
You never know.
Who the hell's at Art Basel? This guy's just walking around looking at stuff?
Yeah. You never know. Yeah, that's why I would never. I know people are like, oh, it frees your mind. You never be the same. No. I couldn't even, because that would be me. I would wake up and I would be in a jail cell. I'd be like, what happened?
What happened?
You don't know?
You freed your mind, man. You stabbed the shaman.
Oh my gosh. That to me would be the ultimate
You were
nightmare.
yelling, do it, bitch, the whole time.
He started growling. It was fucking insane, bro.
Well, I have got on what looks like a bandit's mask, and unfortunately it's been itching, and I've been scratching a little bit, so now I'm spreading it all over my face.
Just don't touch your.
I'm trying not to.
Your
She's
nice
a
shirt.
spreader.
I know, yeah. I'm getting it all over. I think we have a meeting today, right?
We do. We have a meeting with our boss.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Guess they're used to our goofy act.
I know we're on my top
I'm
threads
sure
today.
he's going to.
Yours kind of looks like eyeshadow, Virginia. You look like you're making a statement.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah?
Although yours is starting to run down your face a little bit.
Good.
You might want to clean that up.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, so we got to go to a little meeting and all kinds of fun stuff. But appreciate you checking out the KVJ show today. Click that like button. We do appreciate it. Share if you would. Subscribe if you're not already on YouTube. And we'll see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye.